Hi, this is Anne. I just want to show you if you want to work in inks. Most of them are transparent, so you can use this. Let me just see if I can get this in focus. This Rotring Tikki Graphite 0.3 pigmented ink. I also bought this. This one's the Scopic multi-liners. They work also fantastic. The only problem for me is they are a bit too small. I mean, if you work very fine, I think they will work for you, but I think you can also get the bigger ones. This one is also pigment based, waterproof, archival and acid free, photocopy safe. So this is also wonderful. As I said, they're just too small for me, so I'm gonna work with this one today, and I'm gonna do cone flowers. So I'm gonna use that as my reference. The brushes I'm gonna use is a small round brush, and then I've got these angled brushes. I love them. I love to paint with them. They work especially well for me. I don't know, I just love it. So just try it. You can make a fine, if you use it on this side, like if you're cutting something, you can have a fine point, and then you press it, it goes like that, and then when you pick it up, it's going to give you a small point again. Or yeah, I hope you understand what I mean there. So what I'm gonna do first, I'm just gonna start to oh wait, you know what? I'm gonna do my washes first, and then I can maybe see where I go from there. I've got Follow Cyanine green blue shade. I've got Burnt Umber. I prefer to use the Antelope Brown, but mine are finished. And I've got Flame Orange. I've got in acrylics, I've got a white, a Payne's Grey, a Cadmium Yellow, and an Orange. I'm not sure what I'm gonna use. If I'm just going to go with the inks, or I'll see as I go along. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to wet my canvas. So this is just a piece of superwood. I'm going to drop in some of my browns, and I'm just going to use my brush. Maybe I must just take another one. I don't want to make that one dirty now. I'm just going to use my brush, and I'm just going to move this around. You can see this pigment is it's got a very high pigment, this inks. So actually I think I've maybe overdone this, but it's fine. I will see when maybe I will take a little bit off later, or just dab it with a tissue or something. I just want to make myself an area here where I'm going to put my flowers. I'm just going to take off some of this inks. It's too much for me. I think I've put on too much. I think I've overdone it with the water, and the superwood doesn't work as nicely as the canvases work. So if you can, you must maybe just get yourself a canvas, but I'm gonna make do with this now. I don't mind if they make these little pools. Usually when this happens with your acrylic, it's you've got too much water in your acrylics or in your inks or whatever. I'm just going to let this dry, and then I'll go a second coat maybe. I will see. You know what, it's too dark for me, so I'm just going to blot away a little bit of these inks before they dry totally. And then I'll go and I'll do something on top. Okay, I like that better. So now I'm just going to let it dry, And then I'll, well, it's almost dry, so, but I want to dry it totally before I do the next wash, because if you do washes, you need to dry. If you work wet and wet, you can do washes wet and wet also, but if you want to put another color on top of this without making dirt, then you can just dry it in between quickly. I decided I'm not going to put on a second wash. I will maybe paint around this if I'm finished. So I'm just going to put in my little heart, and then I'm going to start with my leaves. You can do this in pencil first if you like, if you don't want to go and start with your inks, your pen immediately. Remember, when this pen is dry, it's waterproof. I am maybe going to paint some of the leaves a little bit longer. I usually tend to do that. And you can even make it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to use the same brown that I used in the background, and I'm just going to put in this center, or the little hearts of the flowers. I must say I don't like the burnt umber as I like the antelope brown, but yeah, we'll work around that today. And now I'm going to use my brush like a knife. So I'm just going to use that like this to put in my stems. Maybe a little bit of a leaf or something. Now, if you want a deeper color, you can put maybe Payne's grey with it or whatever. Otherwise, you can just wait till when it's dry, you can just put another layer on top. And remember, as I said, these are a little bit transparent, most of the inks. While I'm at it, I'm just going to put in, I'm not putting water down on my canvas now. I just want to darken some of these areas around the flowers, as I want a little bit of depth there. Shadowy effect around these flowers. I don't mind if I go a little bit over it. Some places you can just wipe away if it bothers you. And you can see I haven't put any water with this, and you can still see how transparent this is. So I'm just going to put a little bit of my water on my brush and just let it flow to the outside so it isn't a harsh line. I still don't like this brown, but I'm going to use a little bit of my inks that's on my palette, and I'm just going to put in a little bit of my, I'm just going to splatter a little bit just to give it a little bit more texture or something. I'm quickly going to let it dry, and then I'll start with the flowers. I just want to lighten up the area in certain places. I've got a little bit of my flame orange, and I'm just going to put this here and there. You can water it down so it isn't so potent, and I'm just going to, into these white areas, just put a little bit of my flame orange. And I'm not worrying too much about areas that I go over or anything. I'm just enjoying myself, and I think that's the whole point of art making is sometimes you do something and you think, oh my goodness, what have I done? And sometimes you think that also, and then it's actually a very beautiful mistake. I'm just going to tone it down a little bit here and there. And I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to do this color of the flowers. I'm thinking maybe red or pink. I usually go red, so I don't know if I must maybe attempt a little bit of pink today. Okay, I took two colors out that I didn't mention. It's this Rosa Fluorescent. No, let me just see if there's better. Rose Fluorescent Pink. And I've taken out this one is Magenta. This is a different brand I'm trying out now. I love this one, and even the Liquitex is my favorite, one of those two. But yeah, let us see. I'm going to put in a little bit of the Magenta because it's a darker color, and I'm going to put it in the shadowy areas. That's the areas that's usually the closest to the heart, because this is a cone flower and it droops like that when the flowers are getting a little bit old, and a little bit in between as well where they overlap. So some of them I'm just going to highlight. I don't want to go with the fluorescent colors aren't that great at covering, so they lose a little bit of their colors when they get dry. So that's why I'm putting in, leaving in the spaces where I want to put that in a little bit open, as you can see. So I'm just going to go into here and there, not worrying too much. I just want to put in those stems a little bit more while I'm waiting for the flowers to dry. So I'm just taking a little bit of my white with my green. I'm not going to do the whole area. I'm just going certain places, like maybe here and there. And I'm going to start with a fluorescent. You can see how I didn't even use, it's just a few drops, and I didn't even use a lot of that. So now I'm going to put in the fluorescent. I'm going to try and put it in a little bit thicker. I'm putting a little bit of my white also with it, just to see if it will help with the drying a little bit more nicer. So I'm just dropping it at the point of the flower or the end of the flower. I think I will maybe need to go over this again, but we'll see when we get there. So I'm not going into my magenta. I'm just dropping this is at the ends of the tips of the flowers, and then it goes into one another a little bit here and there, but not too much. So I don't want to blend it, as I want that pop of color. So I'm just going to quickly dry this, and then I'll be back. You can see how light or how dark it, I don't know if you can see how it lost a lot of the vibrancy that it had. So I'm just going to darken that hearts again a little bit, because I want to highlight them. So I'm just going here at the bottom of the little stem, you know, where the stem and the heart gets together. Sorry, I call these hearts. I don't know why, but for me it's the heart of the flower. So I'm just going to darken some areas here and there a little bit again. I'm going to use inks the whole time. The only time I'm going to use a little bit acrylic ink, acrylic self, is my white. I don't like the ink white too much. It hasn't got that great coverage for me, but it works in certain areas. So I'm just going to put a little bit of my white, and I'm just going to bring in some areas a little bit lighter. I'm going to use white with my fluorescent pink also. And I'm just going to go in certain areas. I don't want to cover up everything, because remember, this white is very opaque, and I don't want to cover up all my lines of my pen. But if that happens, I'm going to show you. I will deliberately cover some of the lines that I can show you how to get them back if you like them. So I'm just going with the tips, and maybe here and there where it overlaps a little bit, not too much. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my white with my flame orange, and I'm just going to make a little bit of texture onto these little hearts of mine for a highlight. That's enough, I think. I can maybe even put a little bit into my areas there. Just taking a little bit more white with my orange now. I just want to get a little bit of a variation. So I'm going back to my favorite pen, and I'm just going to make a little bit of lines again over this. I just want to show you, maybe you can still see a lot of my pen marks. So I'm just going to define some of the lines, or just make a little bit of it a little bit more loose. It's getting a little bit tight for me. I'm not used to working so small, but I had a lot of people asking me to show them step by step, you know, and you don't want the video to be too long and boring, so I'm trying it on a smaller scale. Tell me if you like these, then I can make more of them. You know, you tend to forget when you started, everything was very, you know, you didn't know what is going on, and what is what, and what is a pen, and what is, you know, inks, and what's acrylics. So I'm trying to give the blokes that want to start just a little bit more info. So if there's anything that you want to know, please feel free to ask me anything in the comments. And I will, if I can help you, I will help you. So yeah, that's, you can see I've got a lot of pen marks now. Okay, I'm finished. So I hope you can see. Let me just pick it up so I can try and show you the detail. But remember, I forgot to tell you, if you've got a flower at the back and one in front, just lighten the area so the tips of the flower in front and darken a little bit at the back. So that always works for me. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, I would like to see you again. I'm going to show you another technique also that you can use. Remember, if you want to paint over everything here and you don't want these lines to show, you can do that. You can just use your opaques and your whites and stuff and do that. I'm just showing you different ways how you can use different things. And what is the easiest ways for me to draw and paint on top of it without, if you use charcoal, it smears. And I don't even mind that, but I don't know, some people doesn't like that the charcoal goes into the paint because it dirties it a little bit. But I will show you different techniques and things, and I hope to see you again. Have a lovely day.